Welcome back to Detailed Reviews, where I review my personally owned Outlander 2022-2023 PHEV. Because we're going to go out for a drive tomorrow, the first thing we need to do is to get it fully charged. Let's look what happens when you try and drive the car off with the charge plug plugged in. You can see that it will not start with the charge cable plugged in, and also if you put it into drive, it will not charge either. Now, because I'm going to be making an early start in the morning, I want to make sure I get my settings correct. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the EV settings, and then I'm going to go into the charging timer and just basically turn that off so I can get a full night's charge. Normally I only do it for 3 hours a night. So that's now turned off. Next, if I go into the climate control time, I can go into there. Normally it's set for 8 AM, but I'm not going to go anywhere until 9 AM, so I'm going to change that. So it's now set to 9 AM, and then it's going to ask me to confirm it. And you can see that timer is now on. On the driver display, you can see the charging indicator and how that's working. You can also see the red charging indicator below on the left. It is not flashing, which means the car isn't currently charging, and now it's flashing, so the car's now charging. For just a couple of minutes after you have started charging, this green light will also flash where the charging cable is plugged in, but it shortly stops. However, the light on the dashboard will flash all the way until charging is completed, to give you some sort of idea, but no idea what percentage charged it is at. It's the next morning now, around 8 AM, before the climate control timer has come on, and it's about 8 degrees in the car, which is about 41 degrees Fahrenheit. It is 9 AM now, ready to go, so let's have a look and see what the temperature of the car is now. I can tell you in advance, it's not going to be good. You can see it's still only 8 degrees. The car hasn't heated up at all. No sounds came out of the engine at all any time before the car started up, so I wasn't very surprised. When I returned my car to Mitsubishi for the 1 month service, I was told it was working fine, so that's rather disappointing. Charging is now complete, and you can see 54 kilometers is the estimated range available. So let's start up the car in normal mode, and you can see it's 4 degrees outside at the moment, and it decides it needs to turn the engine on for most efficiency. Despite having only just turned the car on, you can see the drive battery temperature is quite reasonable. I received some comments in the previous video that I should have done longer term tests for the battery and petrol economy, so let's see how we're going to go today. So let's check out the parking sensors as I reverse into my fence. You can see it tells you which zone is in question, and also gives you colour indications as to how close you are getting. Jumping out and having a look at how far we actually are away, you can see the distance is about 1 hand length. When I got back in the car, I put the car into reverse, but the car didn't move anymore, though a quick tap in the accelerator would make it move. I like to stay warm on the road trip, so I've got things set to automatic, but I am going to turn the air conditioning off because I know that does use quite a bit of power. Let me explain how the dial on the left works. It consists of EV charge, EV power, and times 10 kilowatts, which is how much power the petrol engine is generating. You can see here doing 50 kilometers per hour, hardly any of the motor's power is required to maintain your speed. When you take your foot off the accelerator, it will start to charge, and when you put your foot on the brake, it will charge to a much greater extent. I'm now going to slow the car down a little bit so that I can then accelerate, and you can see the acceleration rate of the car and how the gauge goes up as you use a lot more of the EV power. When your level of acceleration is too great, the petrol engine will come on to provide extra power. However, this power is going through the electric motors, not charging the wheels directly. Let's have a look at the economies on just over 4Ks. 6.3 litres per 100 kilometre of 47 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometre. Let's have a look at the heads up display. You can see my current speed, the speed read from a speed sign, the speed I've got set maximum using the cruise control, the distance I've got from the following car, and it's 6.3 kilometres until I need to make my next turn. Let's look at the economy so far. You can see I've travelled 34.5 kilometres now, average fuel consumption of 0.8 litres per 100 kilometres per hour, and 33.3 kilowatts per 100 kilometres, which is a definite improvement, but I've only got 7 kilometres of range left in the car. I ran out of battery power a couple of kilometres ago now. This is the first opportunity I had to stop. You can see I probably got about 41 kilometres of range, which isn't that good. I'm putting that down to the cold for the most part. I wasn't able to charge up fully. I've used a little bit of petrol, and that distance it's taken me until I was able to stop. Average there. So let's go through all the dials. You can see here all the gauges I've got. So I hope that proves useful for people to have a look at. This is what accelerating looks like when you have no charge left in the battery. You can see there's no EV mode going on at all. I reset the drive computer once the EV battery went flat. So you can see how much economy I'm getting, 5.4 litres per 100 kilometres, which is over 25 kilometres, and I think that's quite good. Now you do notice there is still some battery use going on there. That's because it regenerated as it went and made quite a difference to the economy. And these are all the other figures. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to like and to subscribe. It is the middle of winter in New Zealand at the moment, so things will be very different during summer. One person commented that I really should do these when it's 20 degrees to get better results. Well, I can't. It's winter here. So unless you want to fly me to the Bahamas to do this, which I'll be more than happy to do, complete with my car, we'll have to wait until probably December before we can see what economies we get during the warmer weather.